Ladies and gentlemen, the Brit Pack is back again very, very swiftly after we finished recording our first episode. Mr. Sandhu, literally as we were wrapping up, took a look at his social media and lo and behold, we have breaking news already. Sandhu, hit me with it.
Right, so per Brit Okamoto of ESPN, it looks like the UFC is going to get back to business a little sooner than everyone thought.
Wow.
Dana White tells Brit Okamoto that the UFC is already planning for the promotion's next event to take place on May 9th at a location to be determined, and the proposed fight card would include the following.
Go on.
Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje, Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz, Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer, Francis Ngannou versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and Donald Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis. Incredible. The potential lineup of fights is incredible. I mean, it doesn't get any more stacked than that. We're talking about 3 title fights on that main card. But I guess, Simon, this is one of the reasons that we've brought the Brit Pack back, is to do special breaking news episodes to react to some news like this. Your initial reaction to that breaking news that we could be talking about and looking forward to a UFC event on May 9th.
I have many reactions to this. The first one is, wow, what a card. What a card. I mean, you've got quality top to tail on that list that you just given me there. The second thing that hits me is, given everything that we've literally just had with UFC 249 and the fact that it got shut down, and ESPN and Disney were the people that shut it down, and now about a week removed from that, or maybe less than a week removed from that, they're now looking to move on with another card. It makes you wonder what is going on in the background there. Is this going to be on ESPN? If it is going to be on ESPN, what has changed? And the only thing that I can think of that has changed in this is that this event is going to be held somewhere where it is legally allowed to happen. I'm not talking about going around a state athletic commission and having it on tribal land, which was the plan for 249. California was shut down, and they were looking to circumvent that by going to the Tachi Palace on tribal land. We were just talking on episode, I suppose we call it episode 1. I don't know what we call it. The our brand new return episode of the Brit Pack. We were talking about the WWE, weren't we? We were talking about them being declared a, quotes, essential business in the state of Florida. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has seemingly rubber-stamped a decree or a law that basically allows the WWE to continue holding events in the state of Florida. It's controversial, but it's been done, or it's being done. And I said to you on the show, I wonder whether that's a chink of light for the UFC. It makes me wonder, are the UFC going to Florida? Have they been given a bit of a way back into live events by Florida? One other thing that I need to chuck in the mix, I've just seen on social media, Andy Slater from Fox Sports, and this was tweeted by Brit Okamoto as well. It sounds like Dana White is going to be part of a pretty star-studded cast of people who are going to be advising President Trump on how to restart the economy, which is mind-boggling, really, when you think about it. Adam Silver, who is the commissioner of the NBA, Rob Manfred, Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, Gary Bettman, Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Dana White, president of the UFC, and the top man of the WWE, Vince McMahon, are part of a large group that will help advise on how to restart the economy. Now, that must mean that the whole restart that Trump is looking to implement here is going to be very sport driven. Those guys are some of the biggest power brokers in the world of sport, over in your part of the world, over in North America. So I'm wondering whether Florida is just the start of this, and whether this is that's where the UFC is gonna hold their event. this May 9th event. But wow, the world moves fast, Sandy. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I'm absolutely floored by this news, if I'm being honest, because given, what happened last week with UFC 249 essentially being postponed and that whole thing of, the top boss at Disney telling Dana to stand down, I thought, right, okay, well, we're going to be in for a dark period of no UFC events. And now this, out of the blue, May 9th is literally less than a month away. And I'm curious to see if this event actually happens, just given the track record of UFC 249. It'll be interesting to see, if all of these fights stay together. 3 title fights. How are these fighters preparing? How are they putting together their training camps? Where is this fight going to take place? There's so much uncertainty, still so much information that we don't know. What we do know is Dana White and the UFC are now, fully prepared, and they have their intentions to hold an event on May 9th. So in the coming days and weeks, we are going to have a lot to talk about because that information is now out there. And it'll be quite bizarre if the UFC are told back to back to put a halt on an event that they're actively trying to promote and put on, especially with so many broadcast partners around the world now looking forward to this. That being said, that fight card is insane. It's absolutely stacked. It's one of the best fight cards I've ever seen, if I'm being honest. It's just like from top to bottom. Three title fights on a UFC main card is very, very rare. That doesn't happen too often. And so, listen, world-class card. Can't deny it. With a bunch of characters. And if this event takes place and like you said, if it happens safely, and it isn't, going to affect any kind of local medical health facilities and things of that nature, then fantastic. And I'm sure the UFC and Dana White and everyone involved is going to take every single precaution available and necessary, and then some. And it will be interesting to see what the reaction of the MMA community is. I'm sure fans will be just, absolutely delighted with the fact that there's a card that they can look forward to and a card of that nature. So, yeah, that's I'm absolutely floored. I'm not quite lost for words, but I'm still trying to digest what this actually means. And I've got a feeling that the next time we talk, a week from now, we're going to have a lot more information to share with the listeners and a lot more to react to. But right now, with that bit of breaking news, wow. That's all I can say is just wow.
It's mad. And whatever your thoughts on the rights and wrongs of attempting to host an event in these circumstances, I think one thing that you do need to at least acknowledge is Dana White is not a man who gives up easily. If he's batting on your team, he's in there for the long haul, and I think most people would have just stepped right back from this by now. And Dana will take flack for not doing so. But if you take a look at what he's actually pulling off or attempted to pull off here, him and his team, it is quite something. It is quite something, and you may not ultimately. Everybody might not necessarily agree with it. Loads of people are going to be delighted with it. I'm going to be delighted to see some live fights. I just want it to be done responsibly. If it's being done responsibly, count me in. But I think the one sort of side note to this is it's pretty remarkable. The UFC as a company is arguably one of the most agile sports organisations on the planet. The way that they're able to pivot so fast and change tack almost within a matter of hours when they come up against adversity or changes of circumstance is pretty remarkable. And for that, I think a lot of respect goes out to the people involved who are putting in an incredible amount of work behind the scenes over there in Vegas to actually get this, to even make this thing viable. So I'm looking forward to seeing more details on this. I would very much like to know where it's taking place. I'd very much like to hear what safety precautions are in place. And once I've heard all that, I'd very much like to know where it's going to be shown. Is it going to be an ESPN thing, or is this a Fight Pass thing? That'll be very interesting to see. The fact that ESPN have broken the news may well give you a little inkling as to where that's going to be shown. I think if it was going to be a Fight Pass thing and they were going without ESPN for it, I think it would have been announced differently. So, but yeah, this sport is absolutely bonkers, Sandu, and that's why we love it. It's why we love to talk about it, and that's why this podcast is back. But wow, literally 30 seconds after we recorded episode 1, we're doing breaking news as a little bonus extra. But hey, that's what we're here for, right?
Absolutely, and like I said, this new iteration of the Brit Pack show, these are the new bells and whistles we can deliver to the listeners. It is going to be you, me, reacting to some breaking news, especially news of this magnitude. So I would love to kind of get some reaction from our listeners. So if you have got a take, you've got an opinion, the Britpack.com, the Britpack.substack.com is the best way to reach out to us. Let us know how you feel about this. Are you excited? Are you cautious about this actually taking place? Let us know how you feel, and would love to kind of perhaps continue the conversation when we record next week's show.
Good stuff. There we go. Brit Pack breaking news. We will speak to you, if there's no more breaking news, next week.